fabulous New York City, so we are very late joining this arena by 32 minutes. But we'll play the rest of it, and then we'll play the next one. 3-0. We got here, as I set this up. Bing, bing, bing. 1563 seems workable. Oh, that's loud. My rating's only 2370 right now, and I know I mess around a lot on it, but we should at least get that over 24. We can do it. Oh, let's get the Gambit glasses on for one moment. For an Alpin Gambit accepted against our French. For an Alpin Gambit accepted, as we get to play without this F-pawn that we traded here on F3, and let's make use of that with this nice Queen E1, Queen H4 maneuver that the pawn's not in the way of. Right, the queen can't jump directly out to these squares. Knight was covering. So she comes here. And this is going to be textbook. This is going to be textbook. Let's do it with E5, bishop E5, E5. Let's do it with bishop G5. Let's do it right. So I want to get rid of this knight. As they bring the bishop back to e7. Not a great move there, because here, I understand they were scared about this pin. But now what we're going to do is we're going to try to eliminate this knight as a defender of h7, which I was threatening to checkmate them on. And you didn't want g6, because of probably knight c6, and I take here after the queen moves, and then I would win f6 without the pawn's defense. And h6 is the other way to relieve tension on h7, but I was controlling not just this diagonal, but also this diagonal. And we're just going to grab that right away. So they're trying to be a little creative here with knight takes e5, and I like it. Spicy. We should be a bit careful. Let's go d takes e5. No queen d4 check, because the queen actually also covers this way, in addition to her pressure this direction. But yeah, I mean, I understand g takes h6, queen takes h6 we would play, and there would be overwhelming pressure. Knight d5 looks like it solves a lot of problems for them. It looks like I should go something like queen g3 to hit here, but I think very effective moves bishop g5 actually takes, and that's checkmate. Queen g3 was also good. Yeah, you see we just made him right there. So bishop g5 here, yeah, nice move. Knight d5, it does cover e7, so g6 here does prolong the game a little bit, but I would probably just pay them a visit on f6 and then try to pay them even nicer visit on h8. And say after trade, bishop moves, then the visit would probably be paid on g7. We can have a little bit of a look-see here. So, yeah, this was quite lost for them at plus 2.3. In the game, played knight d5, which was actually not the best move. But the best move here, I mean, it's still, okay, completely lost. It's saying they just need to give that to just temporarily block the queen's route in there. So knight d5, yeah, bishop to g5 was among the best moves. Queen g4 coming in for, oh yeah, big threats here. I mean, the bishops just work so well in unison together. And here we would checkmate on g7 next turn. Knight d5, bishop to g5. If you extended the game with g6, yeah, like I said, bishop to f6 here. Takes. Okay, they have this with check, so maybe they don't lose so quickly. But here I'm actually not even down a pawn, and would end the game very shortly. Yeah, I grabbed it back on h6, and they couldn't recapture the piece because I was going to go queen takes h6 here. And now again, any knight move gets you checkmated, and the rook's just coming across to g3 and say. Yeah, I mean, not much else to say here. That's going to end the game. Or I take d7, take f6, and just checkmate you on h7 as soon as you run out of replacement knights to guard h7. So here, this is really brutal. And this is how our favorite attack goes against the French. This is how our favorite gambit goes. We play bishop to e3 to make sure this gambit gets accepted. There's no e3, and also fights against c5 breaks, which is what French players really like. So the bishop on e3 sits quite nicely. Our opponent takes on f3. If they play knight to f6, what we can do is actually take on e4, bishop to d3, drive the knight right back there anyway most of the time, and then knight to f3 is going to be a direct transposition to this position here. After takes, knight f6, we play bishop to d3. They've played e6, jamming in this bishop. That's actually the key thing that happens here, right? You can imagine, like, if I just did this, let's say out of like a Scandi, and I was just like, boom, let's do this, let's do it, let's put our bishop to d3 and do the same thing. What black could say is, no, I'm going to put my bishop on f5. Okay, let's say the same position. And now I'm going to go here with my bishop not on c8, but on the other side of this door. That changes everything. There's no attack here. There's no attack here without, like, okay, I could do all the same thing. But, you know, it's very different here versus here. Queen on h4 does nothing here. There's no hit on h7. There's knight moves and causes you problems, right? Whereas in the game, you saw we had this, and so, okay, we both castle, but now with no f2 pawn, and with this diagonal, what I can do is, okay, the standard knight defending a king's castle does a great job, right? Guards h7, shields this diagonal, keeps the queen out of her most aggressive posts, but the queen has a very special secret route here. Without this f2 pawn that we gambited here, it's got that diagonal, so, like, okay, they keep developing knight d7. I mean, just a very natural move here. Engine 1, knight c6 to look at knight b4 here, but, okay, I just need to stop that and keep my precious bishop on the board. Why is it so precious? Because they're going to coordinate on h7, not to immediately checkmate. Like I said, the knight is still there, but they don't have h6 also because of this other diagonal, right, at all times. And so otherwise, I just overwhelm pressure on this knight, and then, you know, you have to fold either, like, g6 at some moment, to, you know, just to not get checkmated right there. But here, like I was saying in the game, knight c6 is actually possible, because I could probably just take this and take here, and then here I am ahead a piece, right, with the rook's help, right? With the rook's help, also, you know, shout out to that pawn for being gone. And then, like, even if not, imagine, like, okay, I went here, bishop b7, okay, I'm just going to go rook f4, rook f1, overwhelm pressure on f6 again. Okay, actually, I also, it wasn't even a good move I made. Knight takes d7 here is playable, because the bishop is hanging. With the queen's hit, and queen takes d7, okay, that's also hanging. Again, even if I didn't do any of that, rook f1 here, pressure on f6 and f7, queen h6, rook h4, mate here. So the attack is so strong, and we love going here. In the game, yeah, you saw what happened when they didn't, when they just played h6, I just took, and we checkmated on h7 pretty quickly. GG. Let's keep it rolling. What about knight h6? But then I would probably... Oh, instead of pawn takes f3? That's a good... if that's what you meant. I actually have a video coming out about that. What's up, Ori? The sound quality is bad. Should be okay. Yeah? Let me know. You just got the notification that I'm live. That's crazy. Well, I joined a game right away. 1631. Okay, wait, let's get another Gambit. That's something. That's an interesting move to stop b5 because my rook will hang. That's actually the funniest thing I've ever seen. What if I just play like b5 and like bishop b7? Because what if we just like really want a Gambit? Take my pawn. Okay, now I'm gonna go here. Great, we did it. We did it. What's happening here? What is that move? Why would you do that? All right, let's just play like e6. Okay, but my rook is protected now, so takes. What do we want? Let's go with knight takes. I think is spicy. Rook takes also spicy. I like knight takes here. We're getting everybody in on the action. We got the rook open. We got our Gambit glasses on. I don't know why they went here. e4 blocks your queen from this, but okay, g3, hang on. If I go in knight b4, I hit your queen, but you probably just need to hang on to c2. But the knight's going to do a great job on b4. Let me think here. We've got bishop d6 is a good option. We're getting pretty low on time. I forgot I berserked. So let's play bishop to d6 here. So I'm looking at queen h4, and I want to control the g3 square with that big check. And yeah, they didn't really see that. So queen to h4 check. g3, I will take it. Rook will hang at the other end of that, so you're going to have to move your king right now. That's not fun for you. And I'm still thinking about fun things I can do with this knight. What are fun things I can do with this knight? If I go queen f2, I'm going to go here. What do we got? Bidding. We're low on time. Maybe sacrifice. Okay, we're hit here. Let's defend that. Okay, we got to sacrifice. But we got all our pieces joining in on the fun. Big party. Big party, probably. Where should I throw a party? Right there, right? Let me castle while I think about how to take it. e5, okay, I have knight d5. But I'm going to take it somehow. No, you can't do that. I already said why you couldn't. 10 seconds. That's not a lot of seconds, but it's... Oh, wait, this was hanging. This has been a pretty ridiculous game. Oh, what? You really didn't want it? Let's save you. Let's open this up, maybe. Oh, no, we didn't open it up. I'll be okay. Oh, that's hanging now. Whoops. Not the most well-played game by... Oh, no! expect that. Flag. Ah. No way. Oh my god. I don't know if they were going to figure it out. That was the most ridiculous game. I almost flagged him. I got him all the way down to 11 seconds. Oh my goodness. That's too funny. Oh, the sound about my clock? Is there a leech? Does anyone know of a Chrome extension that works like that for Leechus? That was on. It was only on chess.com that I had it. This is a fun gambit. This is a fun gambit. We got him. We've got him here. Look at that. Pouring into these squares. Yeah, e5, I was going to take it. Take it, then queen f7, queen f8. Let's checkmate. Bishop, we're open onto f7. So what do we got then? I want to get him right there. I think what I'm just going to do is really simply castle. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on here, like check and such, but I don't want b2 to hang, and I don't want queen b4 check with my king here. So now let's start looking at these spots. Such as... Well, bishop d6 just cuts castling permanently, but can I win with, like, here, bishop h6, then queen d6 is playable in that position. Trade gets nowhere. e2. So... Okay, let's just cut castling, right? Just be like, no, you're not going to castle. I'm not sure if this was the best move. Maybe I should have dropped in for that check. But I think this is still extremely effective. I'm just going to be like, no castling. This knight can either win this pawn or hang out here. Can you do, like, how do you move? If you go queen c6 to attack it, let's say. Then I will play... Okay, well, that didn't even happen. Knight's coming to e5. Do I go here, potentially? But then knight e5. I wanted to go knight d6. Let's go... This is interesting. Bishop a3, knight e5. Okay, why did I not like this? take away this. Just knight 3 next. D3. Not sure. So queen c6, I'll back up. Oh, I wanted to keep it here. Otherwise, knight e5 was going to kind of... I mean, I could have played around it a little bit. This just makes a lot of sense. A pawn e5 gives me options, though, such as here and f6. On this. And I have f4, maybe? Or even just give me one. But yeah, my knight wants to come here now. Just get him there. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. What's up, Driscoll? Newbie. Theron. Yeah, we just need to get him on f7. I'm not sure this was a great idea. They want to hold this pawn and such. And maybe not let me play like e5 or f4 and f5, which was my other idea. But yeah, queen b3 I think is a nice move here. I could have just dealt with this and hit it this way, but now we not only protect the bishop, but they open this up, right? So now they're on the run. But it's probably not going to end well for them, so they need to get their queen back over. The knight can come in here. Like, beautiful. I want here and the knight on d6, but they have knight c5 if I do it. Oh, they didn't even have that, probably. I had queen c4. But okay, this is brutal. Play f6. They go there. Just going to give me that. Understandable. But then I also will collect this. Queen takes in tow. Knight c5. That's not made at all. But I'll just keep collecting. And okay, I mean I can't go there because of the knight, but I'll come here. Protecting my knight. And we've very, very much crashed through. Check. Let's say I'll take it and take it. Yeah. I mean, I'm up material here. Bishop e6, queen e2, but okay. It looks pretty good. g4, g5, or f4. I'm making some trades. Nice game. Have I played chess with Viper King TV? Not that I know of. Yeah, that was a tough game for them. I like that Gambit a lot. I like that Gambit a lot. This is also a Gambit I like a lot. Do it. Let's go. We're ready, just in case. Just in case. By the way, the arena is going to end in 5 minutes. I could play like 5 minute or 10 minute or 3 minute. You guys let me know which one you want to see. E4 here, D4, I guess. C4 I don't think is a good move. I don't think it's a good move. They were really protecting this pawn, but they moved it twice. And I can always play like c6 and take it. Alright, let's castle for now. If knight takes e5, I'll tell you what I'm thinking. I was also thinking here about knight g4. But okay, d4 and then maybe they just drive me out. But otherwise, hitting f2 before they can castle can be annoying. Knight takes e5, I was thinking about rook e8, d4, take d4, queen takes d4, and knight c6 with a double pin on this pawn and on the knight in that line. But anyway, okay, they do something normal like knight c3. We've still got a couple ideas here. e4 hits the knight and moves to an awkward square, but they have d4. Takes f3, takes c5. That's actually might be better for them than you think, because, whoops, they can go bishop e3 next turn to shield the e line, just recapture on g2. So that's probably not it. Knight g4, knight e4 actually deals with this very nicely. Also probably not it. d3 is their next move. I think what we're going to go with is the simple c6. And d takes c6 then opens up, okay, a lot of possibilities. Because now I have queen b6 without this pawn, and that hits f2, and would probably oblige an annoying move like queen d2. Do I want that? Or just knight takes c6? Bishop e2 would be the only thing that prepares castles for guard on f2. Do you want to go bishop e2? Then I go e4. You don't have d4 in that position. Takes as a tempo on the bishop. So if I take and bishop e2 and then I go e4 after knight to g5, then I can also just play queen d4, hitting f2, and after castles h6, I would take on h3. That's probably pretty good. Also, this knight takes c6, knight a4 is kind of my hesitation there about doing it. Although it's also very playable. Here, e4 hits the knight, right? Can you take it? Maybe. Let's just go with the simple knight takes c6. So d3 would be their only other option, right? Now I'm hitting f2. I'm going to play here queen to b6. Now we hit this. We oblige some awkward queen move. This is all part of the plan. Before you had a chance to play bishop up to castle. Okay, so they go queen there, so they don't have any hit with the knight. Next thing I was looking for... Well, so, okay, also knight a4 is on the table now to make that trade, right? So we got to be aware of that. Let's keep up the pressure then, because I don't want knight a4 to bother me, so... Let's just keep up the pressure here with e4. And now we've taken away that option. So not only do I have rook d8 as an interesting move here... Yeah, actually, let's start him out with rook d8. Because knight d5 is not even playable. I can take it. Oh, they blundered. I have bishop to b4 now. You left your king in the middle too long. You lost because your king is here and you didn't get the castle. No, but if they move their queen to some square, say, still holding f2, well, queen c2, okay, knight b4. I mean, so let's say queen e2, which is really awkward. It would block that. I was going to pay them a visit with knight g4, and then it gets very, very difficult to guard f2 because you can't castle for the rook to defend it. Okay, let's finish this one up. D takes c6 here. Let's play bishop to g4 even. Let's just make you think about what you've done. You're going to think about what you've done by leaving your king in the middle. Take. Can we Danish this? Go here and here. All right, let's just go simple queen takes b7. Again, my bishop is just hanging out. All right, now they're threatening to castle. Now I should take the queen. Now let's play rook e8, and let's not lose on time here. Ah, man. Oh, well. My favorite time control is ones with increment. Maybe you can tell why. I was just asked. Like, I like 3+2 and such. I was challenged to a 3+2 game right now by a subscriber. Okay, I'll accept that. Good luck. Mute stream. Maybe they've got something prepped against me. It is newbie. If you guys are subscribed here on YouTube, on Twitch, especially if you're a super. What's up, Luke? Everyone? c5. Let's see if he's got something prepped against c3. It's an Alapin. Sometimes I play knight c3, sometimes pawn c3. Okay, here we've got our Abstinence Gambit. Let's see if he wants this pawn. Then we play d4, hitting the knight. Yeah, I should play with increment, right? Because then it's like, okay, you win the game, but then you don't actually win the game sometimes. Okay, I mean, I guess that's part of the game with non-increment chess, right? Bishop to g4. Certainly I've been on the other ends of dirty flags sometimes. Just not on stream when I'm explaining stuff. Let's play h3. Let's try to take it. Then we'd have maybe some ideas on light squares. Otherwise, I don't know. I have ideas of e6, right? Okay, so we do make this trade. They take here. Okay, pawn takes. So now this looks kind of intelligent that we've opened this. Let's say E6, probably. I mean, if you don't play E6, I'd probably play E6. Yeah, so they play here. This was another idea I had. Now, if black is able to just play E6, bishop E7, castles, they're probably going to be fine. And I C6, they'll attack here. But what if I just throw this in your face right now? What if? Hear me out. I mean, it's tempting to just go here, though, because E6 castles is, like, really pretty. I just hit F7, cause them some sort of inconvenience, right? You gotta play, like, Queen D7 or something to guard this. Then, you know, we can keep messing around a little bit. But we lack development here. It's an idea. I'm kind of talking myself out of it because I like a lot of the other options. It's the truth. I like a lot of the other options because here maybe the knight just comes back. E6 take, queen h5, g6, queen e5 hits the rook, right? In that position, if knight f6 is played, then bishop to c4, then we've probably justified things. Let's just play with bishop c4. Let's just play with bishop c4. I think e6 was very possible, but I think I was leading myself down a rabbit hole because this is just a nice option, and it's like if I can attack without sacrificing like this strong pawn, then why don't I just choose that option, you know? So it's annoying. Queen d7. The thing about queen d7 also is that you don't have bishop e7 next turn. You block f7 defense, right? And otherwise, I don't see a good... Like, if you could play both these moves at once, it's maybe a very different story. Okay, so... But my big question is how I bring these guys out, right? Because they're not looking so hot. All right, we got to start out with d4. That's the only logical move when you played c3. cd4, and then we can talk about what to do next. Probably I'm just recapturing. And c6 in that position. Probably like e6, fe6. Okay, and c6 now is kind of the same story. But they don't give me the square, which is smart. They can start looking at a long castle. Take d5. Okay. We should just hang on to this pawn. So what I'm going to do is probably take this and protect. Because I don't really have e6 here. So I'm just going to take it and protect. Queen e6 is now maybe a good choice. Again, they're trying to not give me knight c3, not making that trade. Castles gives me this, right? Queen e6, it sets up bishop e7, right? You hold the defense on f7 here, which is why I was hesitant to do this. But it's logical still. dc5 would be the downside of not making the capture first if you're black and handing me this square. But I just give him this pawn. It's probably not the trade I want to make. Bishop e7. Okay, they play here to prepare bishop g7. But then I could probably go here or g8. Probably this is good because now I stopped you from making that castle ever. Let's go knight d2. So they're just going to drive me out, but we did permanently stop that castling. Now we hit f7. Maybe my queen should have been on like h4 actually. That would have made a lot more sense. Brought her to f3 instead, which is just where I came from and also takes away that. You know, rook f8 maybe sets that up. Okay, let's go here, try to get in. We're playing with increment, which is nice. All right, so they're trying to long castle, but we hit this pawn right now. So CD4 is kind of obligated. I'm looking to pay them a nice little visit on C5. So the king's going to go that way, but we'll follow. We will follow. And if not, going to have to repay them the visit on c5. We might pay them a visit right here. Maybe cutting this for a little while. So it might have been your one window. Then with the king in the middle, we'll look to open it up. So if I'm black here, I'm really playing c4. Because or else I'm going to take it, or I'm going to push c4, and I'm just going to blow this open. All right, let's keep that cut off. So queen takes, c4 played. But now I have e6, actually. Pawn takes, this is hanging. Queen takes, I had rook e1. So it wasn't that urgent that I played e6, but maybe it was. Knight d2, that's queen e6. So they go there, but now let's think about winning something. All right, let's just save our knight and rook e1. So they're going to run away, which makes some sense. Oh, no, I just blocked my rook. Not smart. Not smart. That was looking very good with that pawn, but then I just blocked my rook. And they're hanging in the game. Okay, let's keep taking stuff. Let's look at trading queens might be good now that we're up a couple pawns. And their king is actually pretty safe over there. That almost worked, but this is hanging. That almost worked. That almost worked. But otherwise, yeah, I think they had to trade queens there. Now I'm going to try and win this knight. I'm going to try to win this knight. Oh, almost got me on a little pre-move prank. GG, GG. That was a battle. Let's have a look. That was a battle. GG newbie. Alright, F4. It's our abstinence gambit. Chose not to accept. Takes, invites some fun stuff here. D4, we hit the knight. D5, we can play after, you know, to really keep driving him away. Or H4 to really keep bothering him. Shout out to Highly Cruciferous. The full study is available in the Gambit Chat Discord server. And also, I linked it on the Yin Yang Gambit video. So bishop to G4 played here, which makes a lot of sense before you play E6 that you don't want that bishop to be so bad. But the drawback to it, probably better to play like knight c6 and keep some sort of flexibility here. Bishop to b5, the bishop can still be of use there. Still g6 or e6 is possible, both of them, to bring out that bishop. Bishop g4, yeah, I play h3 and then make some difficult decision, right? If you can't really keep up this pin, actually, because g4 f5 will trap you. Otherwise, you know, then you're just moving back on this diagonal. If you make the trade, and then de5, fe5, right? What's happened is actually brought the queen to a pretty nice square, where she's got targets on f7 and b7. De5 was played so that you don't hang here. a6 played, which is a move that was probably very, very specific to just bishop to b5 check, right? Probably better to play like an c6. You know, give me some sort of problem here. Queen bishop to b5, and then maybe like e6 now. In the game, a6. So you're a few moves from being able to escape, and we try to make that difficult. So e6 was possible. It's actually, like, literally these two moves I spent too much time, but they were the best and second best moves here. E6 is really, really annoying. If you can just throw that pawn in their face, sometimes, I mean, that's just very good stuff. Bishop c4, like, you know, it's hard to, you can imagine here, it's hard to castle around this. Queen coming into f7 here, this just hangs the pawn. So, like this kind of really sucks, or the rook will attack as well. But it is possible. I mean, you're still giving a pawn. I just played bishop c4 and castle because that was also a nice option. Hitting f7 here, so queen d7, nice move to hold everything together. Here, knight c6, I think it was smart not to play cd4 and hand me this square, because then I could have driven this knight away, either won a pawn there or played d5 and just blown it all open. In the game, knight c6, and I had to take d5, takes to play bishop e3 to give this pawn some necessary support against knight c6. G6 played. Yeah, I was thinking in the game about queen e6 and bishop e7, but yeah, I was also thinking about c4. I was also thinking about this move c4. Yeah, blow it open if their king's there. I just need to get one of these pawns to the d5 square for like a nice little fork. And so this gets very tough for black very quickly. Otherwise, f7 is hanging on long castle, and bishop e7 is not possible because f7 is still hanging, right? We were able to play f takes e5, and we were able to play queen takes f3, and with that, we've gotten this file cooking pretty quickly against the enemy king. So g6 played to try to arrange this, but I can just pay them a visit on f6, force rook to g8, then do something useful, and just be like, okay, your rook is moved, you can't castle. I come queen f3, I criticize my own move. The difference between queen f3 and queen h4 is negligible. In fact, I even liked f3, but I like just cutting this long castle, defending d4, keeping f3 open for the knight, and eyeing h7 as a target as well. In the game, I played queen to f3. Rook to f8 played, and this is an important moment because long castle and black could be okay if their king escapes, but here knight to b3 keeps causing them problems. So for example, cd4, cd4 in long castle, right? That pawn was just hanging otherwise, but now, okay, like I'll play knight c5, I'll play rook c1, This can get pretty ugly pretty quickly for black. I think this attack comes very fast. Pawn will come to b5, drive the knight away, and hit some targets like the queen and the king there, for example. So, you know, not a fun situation to castle into, right? So he's trying to make that a little safer with b6 first, right? Because c4, I also understand you don't want to do that. Knight to c5, this d5 pawn will hang, probably, you know, wherever the queen goes. Can't guard b7 and d5 anyway. So trying to play b6 to keep the knight out of c5, maybe lock it down next turn to arrange a long castle. In the game, yeah, so it wanted me to just blow it open with either dc5. I mean, these trades are going to be good for me because that's where your king is, and it's not where my king is, and so the rooks will have a feast right there. That's always what you want to look for. In the game, I just play bishop g5, which is also a nice option. Cutting castling here, making sure you can't escape h6, so trying to make me move away, so that's c4, and then maybe, okay, you can long castle here and hang on a bit. But I just need to play bishop f6, right? Not bishop h4, because g5 and then long castles is possible with this blocked. But I play here bishop to f6, take queen takes f6, again blocking long castles. c4 played so that, you know, you're not losing this pawn, and so everything's not getting blown open. But here I'm able to, before playing knight d2, and then maybe allowing some sort of defense around here, it was nice to actually play e6, because f takes e6 is hanging, because, you know, you're not castled. Queen takes e6, the queen is lost, because, you know, you're not castled with the king out of the way of, you know, these fun ideas to blow up in the middle with the king there. So e6, it was, yeah, a very tough situation here. I was able to grab on f7 now, king to d7, and nice knight to d2, and now, yeah, we've won a pawn, and we've really crashed through. But, to Newbie's credit, he defended very, very well here. King to c8, I played rook e1, king b7, and then in the heat of the moment, probably best is to play, like, yeah, saying, like, queen g7, to arrange, like, okay, rook coming into f6 and everything, and just crashing through with this pawn, or just eating all these guys. But I actually played knight f3, and he called me out on it. I just blundered this pawn straight up. I played knight f3 because I'm like, oh, let me bring my knight here. But, yeah, I blocked my rook. So he takes f7, and so suddenly, okay, we're even on material for a second, and you've got your king safe. You were able to finish that journey, and the king is safe over there. You know, got a lot of pawns there, and all the files are closed. Okay, but I'm able to take a couple of these pawns. Queen to g3 played, and now queen to g5, nice move, pretty much forcing the queens off the board. Here's what I was thinking, and then, you know, I would just win this endgame up a couple pawns. But rook takes f3, I was scared for a second because I didn't see it, right? So if I just recapture on f3, then, okay, everything's hanging, actually. This is hanging, this is hanging, this is hanging, right? So that's not the best move. But I do, fortunately, have queen takes g3 here. If you take here, then, okay, you never got the queen back. And if you take here, as in the game, I had rook takes f8. So we're not going into an endgame, or we are, but I'm actually just up material here. And here, yeah, well, black loses because this knight is actually completely toast. I'm playing rook f6 next turn. And if something like this, right, to be clear, for the record, I would just take it. I would just take it. If you're up 2 pawns in a king and pawn endgame, like, that's just a sure win. And so no reason to calculate anymore or do anything else. But yeah, GG, fun battle there. Maybe queen takes f7. Yeah, queen takes f7. Here. Yeah. So it guards g6. That's true. It's true. I would probably dodge and then, like, here, for example, and then try to target some dudes. I actually have this nice line. Takes 95 check, and I won that knight. That's actually nasty. Yeah. It's filthy. Otherwise, okay, queen d6. But queen d6 is also good because rook d8 isn't. Because of this, so it's the same reason. Alright. GG. Let's go to an arena. 3+2. Okay, we gotta play that. I really want to watch the Mets-Phillies game, but I legally can't. P. Jenks 2011, thank you for the follow. Do we have the alert box on? Alert box should be on. Oops. Knight c7 earlier instead of a6. Yeah, true. It's just like, you know, when you're so far from castling at that point, when you're so far from castling still, there's going to be, like, you know, you're playing these moves, knight c7, I understand, like, to guard against bishop b5 and e6. But I'm probably just going to play bishop c4 there, e6. It's like you're playing moves specifically against, like, one attack, but if you don't get everything sorted, like your king, I'll keep finding something, you know? Like, you need to make progress on the big thing. Can you take my pawn, please? right? Like, it's tough to keep playing here, here, because I'll just find something else as long as your king's there. But it was a very well played game. It was a very well played game. Defended really well. And almost had me on the clock. Alright, not really sure what to do here. My opponent's played super duper tame. D5, there's just bishop B3. You didn't have to take it. I'm ashamed that I castled this way. Okay. Is he gonna castle? I don't know. He can go either way. Okay, he goes that way. Alright. Makes sense given how he's played the rest of the game, not taking this pawn or anything. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna play h6, bishop h4, and then look at this maneuver. When am I gonna update the Nanai Bushka study? With what? My Lichess study on that? I have a... So they want an h4 to put some pressure here. Bishop h4, right? This is why I played rook e8. Let's do this. Well, so knight f8, what's happening here? Knight g4. Maybe g5? I mean, knight g4, g5 is actually already good. You can also just get out of the way of this with the knight support, so like this is really nothing. But let's say here, take, knight g6, bishop g3, queen d7, picks that off. Yeah, that's a good idea. Knight g4, I mean, it's not even a good move. Otherwise, this is how you want to deal with this pin, which is h6 to drive him away. And then if you've got that maneuver, it's very nice so that they're out of rope on that diagonal. They get driven to g3. Okay, they go for this anyway. g5 here is good. So is bishop takes g4. Which is even better. G5 might not be good, actually, because knight takes h6 and then bishop takes g5. So let's take it. g5 is again now playable. Bishop g3, queen d7, and I think that pawn is toast. Yeah, okay. G6, bishop g3. Let's just go with this simple stuff. Bishop g3, queen d7, and we'll take it normally. What do I need to update it with? Is that more attack here? Yeah, you don't have f3 because the bishop pins that f-pawn. I had a question. Am I playing viewers or is this the Lichess poll? I'm actually happy to play viewers. I'm happy to play viewers. So comment your username, and if you're a subscriber on YouTube, if you're a follower on Twitch, or if you're a subscriber on Twitch or a super on YouTube, send me a challenge. But just comment your Lichess username. Just make sure you subscribe on YouTube. And I'll accept after this. So King H1 played. Yeah, I'm not sure you wanted to give it like that. No. Can I go here and here? Can I go here and here? Let's play, yeah, King H7. Because there's no check right now. Let's do that. Let's get this king. I mean, you just asked for it. Just open this H line, right? Just open the H line. When you can't defend a pawn, just push it. So here, rook h1, and then we'd both hit each other, right? But I don't really want to make like an even swap like that. I want your rook to not make it, and my rook to make it. But then I need one more dude to get on h. So like, that's the queen or someone. That's kind of creative because takes and this was hanging, right? And it also means my king can't move so long as this bishop is in my face. Alas. Let's go here. And we gotta be careful. If my king can't move, anybody that gets to this h line will end the game. What I want to do is then just make this guy move. Maybe my king can come to g6. Who knows? Okay, take. Let's take with g. Take a g. Okay, bishop h5 hits the knight. Do I want to pay you a visit there? No, let's just come back. Okay, you can't hang out there. Or test me. Don't test me. I will trap your bishop. Doesn't have the square because of these. King takes g6. Why not? Why not? How are you going to touch me on g6? I was just going to swing and swing. GG, GG. Alright, send me a challenge, guys, if you want. I'm doubly grave. Gambit Man. What's a gam? Yeah. Why is it only gambit and not gam a lot? Great point. It's just a bit of gam? Why don't we have a lot of it? Maybe this will be a gam a lot if we get an awesome Alapin. Wow, new term unlocked. Gam ton. Not gambit. Do it. Boom, boom, and boom. No. Okay. Well, this is our second time today having this exact same first 7 moves. My last opponent played bishop d6 and cancelled. Will Swine Gobbler meet the same fate? So they go check. I deflect. My knight was on c3. It is check. Don't move your king out of check in the middle, then you can't castle. Okay, it comes there. Doesn't really change much. In fact, it's even helpful. My knight kind of wanted that square, but also pawn can use the support sometimes, especially against c5. And also, I don't want a knight coming to b4 making a trade. So when they went there and then back, maybe now they're realizing castles, and I'm gonna go boom and boom. Oh, Canada. Oh, Canada. Their name is Swine Gobbler. I'm kind of the opposite. I'm a vegetarian, actually. Not sure if I've ever said that on stream, but it's true. What do we got here? Going to e5 here and check. It's actually pretty nasty because knight d7, I could go bishop takes, knight takes, and then I hit you on f7. But here, I guess you have c6. I would come back. Let's just go like boom. Okay, you go there, and then I go boom. I hit g7 anyway. I make the same maneuver, and then I'm like, you sure you don't want a castle? At that point, we can start looking at like bishop h6 instead of just on h7, right? That's the... Whoa. Oh, and he resigns immediately? Oh, did he mean... He probably meant g6 and a mouse slip. I'm like, I admire the spirit. Like, you're going to play rook g8 next turn? I was thinking about how I was going to... And, like, maybe coordinate here. But I'm like, no way. Like, your king's not safe. I'm going to get your king. I'm going to get your king. But I admire the spirit. No, I think he meant g6. I would have granted a take back. Or I don't know if you can in arenas. Okay. g6, then I was just going to keep up the pressure a little bit. Someone's asking in the Leechess chat of this arena, can they join the Zoom link? I don't... Does Leechess have Zoom links? We got a challenge. We got a couple challenges, but no messages in chat. Let me know who you are. Okay, next game. Von Hennig Gambit. Got the Gambit glasses on already. I never even took them off. Never even took them off. Let's go. Let's get them. This one can be very similar to the Alapin Gambit if they just play e6, lock in that bishop, and we just drop back and get them here. Otherwise, if they bring this bishop out, they might be in for a nasty surprise. Like knight e5. Like knight e5. It's not a gambit, it's a gam-a-lot. Take on d1, take on f7, trade the queen for the king. Oh man, that was the only move, because e6 I was just going to eat you, right, if you guard mate. And bishop h5 I was going to take on h5, pay you a visit on f7. So bishop e6 only move. Okay, takes. Alright, let's castle. I was talking earlier about like ideas of just throwing this pawn at him. Alright, g6. So if I do nothing, then they're going to arrange this, and worse things have happened than having a bad pawn structure if you can get your king to some safety. So let's make sure worse things happen to them. Such as, this is interesting actually to me. Knight takes e4, and then what? Could I go knight f7, knight takes h8, and then fish out? It's not really my vibe, because knight e4 would be so strong if I could just... you know what? I want to go here. Yeah, that's my idea. That's my idea. I just realized it. Knight e2. This was also an idea. I just want to get them there. So here, knight f4. Queen maybe we can just defend queen c8. Yeah, maybe. Because it would be better... c4, queen d7, but then I can hit the pawn again, right? Hit that pawn again. I want to make sure to make some quick threats here. c4, c5 is actually a pretty enticing option. Actually, because c4, if you do castle, c5, you got to go here or here, and that just walks right into a fork, right? So c4 kind of makes them play c5 themselves, which I feel like is asking for trouble a little bit. Although I'm not sure what I would play if they play c5 themselves. Alright, what we're going to have to do is this move. If queen d7, I'm just going to play rook e1 and take it. I mean, it's a good move. Queen b4, I'm just going to deal with the hit here. So yeah, queen d7 played. I mean, okay, I can repeat moves with knight e5. That's not what I'm looking to do, though. Rook e1. I mean, yeah, was the rook good here? Sure, but like, what was it doing? Nothing, really. Castles, knight takes e6. Nice stuff there. That's a gorgeous knight. Here's a gorgeous night. Like tonight. Tonight is a gorgeous night. It was raining yesterday. So we're even on material now. Should I take it? I could. But like, I also don't have to. I can't play knight e5 until I do, though. Because I would block my rook. Let's keep up some pressure. Under pressure. I also like c3 as a move. Let's go here. Alright, we're no longer down anything. I don't know why I didn't go here, because knight c7 was nice. I guess there was knight d5. But it probably would have made some more sense. Just chill. Oh, gross. Yuck. Oh, no. He even flew also. This guy. A flyer. Now he's dead. I need the exterminator to come. I'm a vegetarian, but not when it comes to gross little bugs. I should probably shut the window, even though I have the screen up. This is 3+2, we're good. hop. In case y'all forgot. I'm a hopper these days. What are we doing here about this? Let's just go B3. Something like the knight was hanging if I went here, and then this knight was hanging. Like E5 probably. D5 maybe. Go there. Go here. That to put more pressure. I think well done. I mean, I could have just eaten that pawn. My opponent's playing pretty well. But yeah, this is nice. Also guard my rook there. Have to guard this because it was guarding my knight. Oh, I didn't see those were hitting each other. Oh my god. Stupid. Really messed that one up. Let's not lose immediately. I mean, we've already lost, but this would be quite the miracle. Make this trade, right? Take A5. Am I losing immediately? Take A5. I guess rook C8, right? I should lose. Yeah. Oh, they didn't play that. Oh, is this just gonna beat me to the punch? Stop them. Yeah, they have check in C2, right? Check in C2 should do it. Or check in E2. They do that, which is also smart, yes. Rook D2. And C1. Wait, I should have gone this way. And then we both could have promoted. Both could have promoted. Wait, would have been a shot. Shout out to Desert Lightning for the sub. What's up? What is up, my man? Alright. That game did not go great. We kind of got a little bit out of it there. Night before, just totally forgot what was happening in the position, and let that be just I was daydreaming a bit. Here we probably had some sort of good, interesting ideas, like take and take. Yeah, I think this was. We're at plus 3.7. If I just do like literally anything, and pressure here. I mean, instead, this was a series of unfortunate events. C4, and then even here, this is still completely winning, even though like it looks like I should be down a piece. But I just forgot this rook was hanging. I'm not sure if I ever actually had a shot. Yeah, no, they didn't actually give me a shot here. They did this right. The e-pawn, it was actually their only way. The rook alone couldn't stop these. But they were closer than I was. Nice. Okay. Alright, I've got a challenge from X666XL. But I don't see this person in chat. So we'll resume the arena. Desert Lightning sub for 3 months. Shout out to you. Hi, Alvar. Megalodon. Hurry monitor, indeed. How long have I been vegetarian? I found out what meat was when I was like 8. Which I guess is older than most people find out what meat is. It wasn't like a big secret or anything. As I hope they take on e5. Nope. So we just get a dead symmetrical. Okay, so here's the story, right? It's actually pretty funny. It's actually pretty funny. When I was in like nursery school, pre-K, our class had this pet goldfish, Jimmy. And it wasn't like that big a deal, but it was a big deal to me. I was obsessed with Jimmy. We sometimes like they let us feed him, and I was always like, Jimmy, Jimmy, Jimmy. I was so excited to go to school every day to see him. And like teachers and my mother and everyone thought this was very cute, my obsession with this fish, and I loved feeding him. And in retrospect, there was probably a lot of Jimmys, if we're being real, because Jimmy was around for a long time. As I think about what's happening after knight h5. Don't worry, I promise there's a point here about vegetarianism. It takes... Maybe not. Well, not to the... Okay, let's just play a5 against this. Because, you know, it's easier to just, like, get a new goldfish than, you know, explain to a 4-year-old about the permanence of death. So, yeah, probably a lot of Jimmys. Okay. So, I like this pet goldfish, but I also really liked goldfish crackers, right? And one day, I, like, asked my mother, I'm like, Mom, I'm, like, 99% sure, but these aren't, like, Jimmy's friends, are they? The goldfish crackers. And she's like, no. Oh, that's so cute that you would ask that. That's such a fun, silly little question, right? Whereas, let's trade off for this bishop is being annoying. And I remember she like told my teachers the next day, like, oh, look how cute it was. William was concerned about the goldfish and Jimmy and his friends. And she told the story all the time, actually. And every time she'd tell it, I'd be like, because it made me look like an idiot, even though I'm like 4. That goldfish crackers are goldfish. And I'd clarify every time she'd tell it. I'd be like, I was like 99% sure. Like I was just double checking. You know, there was no Google for me in those days. And so we made that knight move, and we grabbed this pawn against the rook is not blocking it. And so, okay, so goldfish aren't goldfish. We've established that. And anyway, finally, like I graduate still with no death to, you know, the immortal Jimmy. I graduate pre-K. So goldfish aren't goldfish. We've established this, and we've also established that's really stupid to ask. And the other thing is that I knew it was, and we're up a piece now. Our opponent just resigns. So it's just going to make some trades. Let's play another game. Goldfish isn't goldfish, so I knew it wasn't called. I knew it was called chicken, but I'm just like, there's no way. There's no way. Like these little things in front of me, like that's the animal, and like we'd like gone to a farm, and like I loved the animals and everything. Just like, and nobody at the farm is gonna tell you like what's happening to them. In fact, death as a whole concept was probably, you know, I was not aware of it. Still at this point. They really have been lying to me. Anyway, so I'm just like, there's no way. And this just goes on for years. Like, I eat chicken, but I'm like, it's not chicken. Same way goldfish aren't goldfish. And it's stupid to even ask. And then finally, just like someone just says something at dinner, I don't even remember, that just like implies like, yeah, chicken is chicken. And I'm like, no, it's not. Like, that's wrong. And they're like, what are you talking about? Like, we had no idea that you didn't know this. And I'm like freaking out. I'm like 8 years old. I remember going upstairs to Google. And there's no just like ChatGPT in those days, or even like a good Google search result that will just be like, or like a Google AI summary or something. That'll just be like, yes, you idiot. Obviously, this is what happens. And it's way more extensive and prevalent and horrifying than you think. So there was nothing that just said that. So it was like a very gradual, horrific realization for me that I remember. This looked not good for them because the knight was hanging. Let's play d5. I mean, okay, this is pinned. Anyway, that's my villain origin story. Ever since then, that was the last time I ate meat. That was the last time I ate meat, like 17 years ago. That's it. It's just me. I don't talk about it a ton. People have known me for a long time that didn't have no idea that I'm vegetarian even. It's not a secret. If it comes up, it comes up. Like how it just did. But that's all there is to it. Okay, if I can make the queen move, then I have queen a4 check. And I'll win this bishop, right? So let's do that. Maybe we trade... Oh, because they take c3 check, actually. They can throw this in. They do. They do. That was smart. That was smart. Okay. Check. King takes d7. It's going to be forced. Can't go queen takes if this is hanging. So that's why I did that. Did you guys like that story? Is that what you're commenting about? You like the Jimmy story? I'm impressed. What are you impressed about? Just the willpower and dedication to not eat? Or the curiosity of the 4-year-old me? Let's go takes. I want my rooks here. Should I castle? I mean, it's as Daniel Naroditsky calls one move-itis. One move-itis. Let's go with the rook. I think the king should be heading this way eventually. As soon as I deal with this bothersome problem. I actually had... No, I didn't. I couldn't go. Let's go check. Let's keep being annoying. I don't want you to hide out behind these pawns. Yeah, pop out over there so I can say hello. Don't run away from me. Actually, I think this is a good time to castle. Maybe this was... Oh, it was actually probably really good. But it was a good time to castle because takes rook d7. This gets checkmating. And then otherwise there's no rook d8. It's a good time to castle. Just shore up g2 and just be like... Okay, the rooks are coming here. Yeah. I mean, this is what I wanted. Just like the rooks come to b1. And then d1. And then just like really cut them off. Just really cut them off. Like rook d1 now probably is actually an even... Like this was winning the queen, but this I think might even be better. Because rook d8 can be checkmate. Coordinating there with both the rooks and the shout out to the bishop. And if you play queen takes a6, then I go check and mate again with the rook cutting it off. You're a vegetarian too. Awesome. Thought it was a diet or something. No, and in fact, like ever since I, as you guys know, have taken up boxing and, put on a lot of muscle, it's a little harder to get grams of protein. Just like naturally in your diet to get as much as I need to like, with powerlifting and as much muscle as I put on as quickly as I did. But it wasn't that hard for me. Like I just used protein powder, protein bars primarily. And there's also like, okay, they go here, prolongs the game. Go check and I'll have to win the queen. Yeah, you don't have d8. You got to step up to the 7th rank. But there's nothing that's irreplaceable about meat. Really nothing. Like, I get the protein. There's also great sources of it. Eggs, tofu, etc. Like naturally in your diet if you don't want just like protein bars, protein powder, although there's nothing wrong with that either. Sometimes you need like iron supplements. I take that every few days or so. I actually take a lot of pills to make sure I hit everything in my diet ever since I've taken up boxing. But, that's something I would do regardless. And otherwise, yeah, so I mentioned eggs. I do eat eggs. I eat the ones that say pasture raised on the box. Because those chickens are actually really living life. pasture raised is a notable designation that the chickens are doing well. If it doesn't say anything, or even if it says cage free, that just means they're not in cages, but if it doesn't say anything, then those chickens are not living life, and would not recommend buying those. It's not nice to the chickens. Let's play, like, I don't know. I don't really know what I'm facing here. Let's play, like, F5. No, I am the Gambit Man. Here, let's make this a King's Gambit, except you've played in 83. Boo. What have we here? Now, they're playing, like, my line against the King's Gambit. Yeah, this is what I do. I think it's good here to go, like, mate c6. Okay, they do this, which is a little weird. So there's check. Phoebe Buffet has nothing to do with it. Certainly still holds up. She was a very fun character, obviously. I'm just still deciding how to take it. I don't know, and then I can just kind of eat everybody. Although, you know, only if they're not sentient. Oh, I'm so funny. Let's go with king. Yeah, now I have to move my king. Okay, so they did manage to gambit against me. Still, if I'm able to just play d6 and clean it up. Blocks this. This might have been a good move. Okay, I'll just make this trade then. I was actually doing some... I want this. Play e4 and d5. Well, let's at least play d5. I want bishop takes. Play e4. Is that the same as free range? No, it goes nothing, cage free, free range, pasture raised. At least in the US, so it sounds like maybe you have the same thing in Britain. Where? I guess they have g6 check. 5 is kind of really annoying, actually. Okay, damn. Alright, oops, we've messed this up a little bit. I want this. I think they missed it. He takes d5, bishop e6. Yeah. Back. Targeting this, maybe. Okay, we're in business again. We're even on material, and I should straighten this out as long as I don't... No, h7, you can't even really take it, though. Because... I'm gonna go here. But I was going to say rook h8 would be brutal, and then I would eat h4 and then get you on h2. So they go there. I'd love to keep them on the board if I could. Although they can munch as well. Go for this, okay. f4 now. Just trying to work underneath and around these guys, like here, maybe. Is this gonna work? Trade. Make me 2. No, I just kept the queens on. I can trade and go rook f2. Okay. But at least, like, their bishop is looking not so hot. Bishop c5 was a good move there. Yes, like it is now. So now they obligate to make that trade. And we'll munch on these guys. Just keep things solid. No reason to let you in. Okay, 3 is probably a simple way to win. Okay, but they dodged that. Still, I don't really see what they're going to do to me. So they finally get through a little bit. But I just need to not, or kind of just not get checkmated, right? Pawn is very slow. So I don't think there's anything... Oh, well, they just want to guard, I see. Okay. It's not mate. But they have that. Let's just send a friend. Let's just send a friend. Rook F2 is probably a better move. Hits F there. Really? I didn't think you wanted to do that. I don't think it really matters. Though E6, do I want to take it? Probably taking it is safe. But okay, no. I don't have to. We can take it. We cannot take it. We can take it. Just promote. It wasn't needed. I'd be too. Okay, we figured that out. We pulled that out. Tough game. GG. Are we talking about eggs? Yeah, we were talking about eggs. It's a much stricter definition of free range that you guys have. Interesting. Happy hens do lay better eggs. And it's also important for the hens. But yeah, it's definitely true. Better than living in the cages. Like, you know, can't even turn around. Not good. 9 reads. On the Gambit. It's like he had this prepped. Here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So if I play Queen D4, I mean, I'd love to, like, not. This probably should be with Queen D4, honestly. Take. Because I think Bishop D4 and AC6, Bishop B5. Play a ball. Just question whether I have enough there. But they played as one of the more effective ways to play against this. Let's give it a shot. Let's try to keep the queens on, right? I don't know. Bishop D4. I think that this was a nice way to play against this line. What they just did with the quick C5, and it's not obvious because the bishop on E3 looks like it stops it. Okay, so I'm gonna play bishop to B5 still because I want this recap. Because I don't want to trade queens. So they're still playing A6. They're actually not giving me pawn takes F3 at all. Maybe better to take with the knight then, although they would have queen h4 check, right? So, okay, we should take with the pawn. Bishop to b4. Hanging. Go e5, knight d5. Knight f3. That's probably what I should do. Else this hangs. Okay, you know what we're going to try? We're going to try knight f3 here. Giving this pawn. I did want to gambit one of these guys. And it's like now... Well, okay, also g7 hanging, right? So now it's going to be a gambit. Although this is hanging now. So let's go with... I gotta give up one of these for this knight. Unless I just dodge it altogether. opponent is very, very good. Take, e4. Take. Okay, we should be grabbing... No. Alright, we'll grab this one. Not really what I wanted at all. I'm kind of very frustrated with how I played this, actually. It's kind of annoying. I'll step around rook e3 to put an 84 on the table. Is this a good move? Maybe? Is it doing anything? Let's see. This is target. D2. Go there. Here. Oh. I think I was starting to do quite well here. I actually kind of really liked my position. I was about to go takes, and then f7 is hit a number of times. You got to stay on f7. And then at minimum, I was just going to grab this pawn. Knight was coming to a nice square. We actually pulled it out from a very poor position, but I didn't have the thing talking to me. I didn't have the thing talking to me, telling me my time. I think actually, yeah, by this point, it's nice. No, it's not. Am I lying? You can give this up? Really? Just defend it? Wow. Okay. I'm lying, apparently. Okay. Von Hennig Gambit, that's nice. That was a nice one. If anybody wants to challenge me, feel free. W Grafe on Lee Chess. Just try the next arena. Maybe we'll do something interesting. We'll try to. Still gonna try to make it hard for you. Still gonna try to make it hard for you to castle. D7 played, but now there's not gonna be, because take. You can't take with the other knight because you'll be pinned there. If you take with the queen, then rook e1 and I'll win it. So okay, you got to do this awkward maneuver to not be in trouble. But now let me try to get you. So if you go bishop d7 and castles, you're fine. But I have bishop g5. So I have bishop g5 right now as well. Queen d7 is forced, or else I will mate you on d8. Which is kind of very amusing to me. I think that is going to be the way to go. Although, wait, am I just helping you? Queen e2, bishop e7. I don't want to help you. So, okay, queen c2. Bishop d7, bishop g5. No. Bishop g5, queen d7. Maybe I'm just too focused on trying to win this game right away. No, it's good. we're gonna go here. Queen d7 forced, or else literally queen d8 is mate. So queen d7 forced, I play queen c2, right? Then I'm threatening. Rook to d1. Queen moves somewhere, and rook to d8. We don't need the gambit glasses, we're not down a pawn. So, right, so that's forced. I go queen c2 right now, so you go bishop e7, right? That's the only way to not get mated on d8, right? What else would you do? Then I'm going to play rook to d1. You play queen to e6 in that position, right? I don't know. Again, I don't know what else you do. Then I take on e7. You'll have to go king takes e7. Because you can't take with the knight because of pin, and you can't take with the queen, because then I will take c6. Pawn takes c6. Queen takes c6. It's going to be check. So, oh, you go queen e6 right now. In preparation for rook d1. I understand you want bishop d7, but you have to face the wrath of knight to d4. Pin. Queen g6 played. Again, I want this. Let's arrange something special for him. Let's go knight c6. Now, oh, I forgot about that. Okay, well, fortunately I have this. What? Sometimes I'm just hallucinating. I had just trade and then take and then just win the rook. Okay. Funny. Sometimes we just hallucinate. Like Dua Lipa. Okay, let's go here. B4 and B5, so just go there. I think this is going to be really annoying, though. If I force Knight, like, Knight C4 is something they wanted, but if I force it now, very early, then, right, this is what they were, like, they're trying to keep my knight out of these squares that could access C7. Okay, can't go check too early, so let's do this. Pawn takes was interesting, actually. Pawn takes was actually pretty interesting, because, yeah, check, and then could win this. So rook b8 is a way to not lose a piece. However... Alright, let's pay him a visit here, because I think that's annoying. Let's bring our rooks here and here. To get to this poor king. It's still even material. It was a strange incident that happened on c2. Here. Good defend. Let's go with e6. I think here we're going to trade and then eat that nicely and then take f7. So if they play pawn takes and knight takes e6. Again, I think this is a little tricky to find a square. Okay, I'll trade. Check, no good. We're just going to have to pull the knight back somewhere. Like here. So it's still hard for them to move around. I want rook d8 if you move your king. Right. Check. Okay, finally I think we've won a pawn. We've won a pawn. It's progress. After them dodging everything for a long time. Oh, okay, that's my only thing. But then they could take h2 at minimum. Otherwise, I'll try to escape this way. I take h2, and then I play rook d6, rook d7. They didn't want it. They had that idea. Check, trying to win it still. Go bishop c3. Put your bishop right there. don't love this endgame. They got a better pawn majority than I, certainly. There's just rolls, really, obviously. Mine, not so much. That's probably not a good one to lose. They should be winning here for sure. Because they can use the other one. Yeah, even that works because they have a 1 with the pin. Damn. Not playing great. What's up, what's up? Thank you to Cold Sun for the follow. You never see me lose? That's, wow. I hate to break that streak on stream. Yeah, I've never lost. Never lost once. That was the first game I ever lost in my life. Faded with the sub on YouTube. Appreciate it. They denied my Bushgas Gambit, but they knew this move d4. Yeah, against d4, this is the only way to go. Because we are playing a little principally when we try to grab this pawn. Because our king's still in the middle and such. Okay, so we both have these, like, weird pawns. Whoa! Oh, they have rook d4? Okay. It's kind of funny, I didn't see that. Yeah, in fact, I asked them to do it. This was a nice move on their part. Take... Okay, I need to get one pawn back. Take this? No, I'll get trapped if they take the bishop, probably. So let's just grab this. Yeah, I mean, white's definitely better here. They're definitely better. But not losing or anything. Let's keep the knight out of these squares. And let's get in there. Okay, I mean, their pieces are great, but just trying to keep it solid for now until we can arrange our good pieces. Oops, didn't I mute you? Oh, it's 10-2 Phillies over the Mets. That's not what you want to hear. Let's go rook d8. Damn, we're about to lose like our 7th in a row. That's crazy. Got to step out the way of this so that we can hold our knight. A7. I'm your favorite chess player. That's so sweet. I didn't accept your challenge. It's because I didn't see the challenge. Sorry. So my opponent, it's a 3-0 game. So, you know, my opponent is pulling a me right now. Just got to make a move. I don't think they have anything to punish me right away. I'm going to go king f7. I'm going to move my knight, trade some rooks. We'll get into an endgame. They're trying, though. That's actually very principled stuff to try to get onto these light squares. What I'm going to do, though, is start looking for... like knight c5. Okay, yeah, let's take it. Oh, yeah, that's nice to force. Okay, I think their advantage is quite dissipating. Looking to invade. They come here. E4 here. E6. They can still eye that pawn. Looking to get in somehow. Some way. Alright, let's just play with... let's just play with rook e7. See what it is they want to do. Just trying to not let you invade in any case here. Okay, let's keep the knight out of the square. Don't want to just trade. I'm trying to cause some problem here. Let's go to e6, c5, knight d4, perhaps. c5, knight d4. Yeah, making some progress here. Oh, they just blundered. They just blundered. They have to step back. I still kind of liked my position a little bit. But, okay, we got him, we got him, we got him. Yep. Alright. How long has this stream been going? Well, no longer, because I was about to sign off. An hour and 41 minutes. An hour and 41 minutes. I appreciate you guys. Subscribe here on YouTube. Check out the full Gambit repertoire. Full free videos of the best Gambits you've seen. Right here. Right here. And join the Discord server for everything. Awesome, awesome, very, very,